prefer the word progressive, which has a real American meaning, going back to the progressive era at the beginning of the 20th century. I consider myself a modern progressive.
If you're willing to get out the vote for Martha Copeland, then you won't just win this election, you will carry on the best progressive, forward-looking values of this proud Commonwealth.
To my progressive friends and to my Republican friends,
I've tried to emphasize to my more progressive friends, Tim and I share a philosophy. It's a pragmatic, progressive philosophy.
Okay. Beginning tomorrow, I mean, it's going to take a while to lay this case out, but I think politicians are going to stop using the word progressive so much. When you, the American people, really learn the real meaning of the word, I think they're going to go, I better not say that. Tomorrow, my first documentary, Live Free or Die, will correct the lies that progressives have been writing and telling you for years. It is important for progressives to distort history. They have to erase history. They have to correct it. That's the only way they can actually win. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you the truth on many, many things. Marxism, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, and Che. Jonah Goldberg is actually part of the, I think you're part of the first block in this, and you saw in my office earlier today about the first, 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
Other than the disturbing close-ups on me, I thought it was incredibly powerful and hard-hitting and really kind of shocking that it's going to be on national television.
I want to show you something. This is something that didn't even make it, this is on the cutting room floor. Footage we found on George Bernard Shaw. And he's a Fabian socialist. A lot of people were like this in America. The progressives followed this line of thinking. This is 1928. George Bernard Shaw, the beloved playwright of the left, they love him. Listen to, and this isn't disturbing stuff that did make it into the special, this is him talking about Mussolini, and I think this is amazing. Listen to this.
I am a most harmless person. I'm quite a kindly person, you know. But still, it's not necessary for me always to look as genial as I'm trying to look now. Of course, I can put on the other thing, for instance. Now that is what I call my Mussolini stunt. They, by the way, I think in justice to Signor Mussolini, I ought to tell you that he has a very wonderful head. He has a wonderful brow which comes down to here. But the difficulty is that he can't take it off. Now, if you watch me, I can put on that imposing look that terrifies, a Mussolini look. But, now just watch. I can take it off. Now Signor Mussolini cannot take it off. He is condemned, although he is a most amiable man, he is condemned to go through life with that terrible and imposing expression which really does a great deal of injustice to his kindly nature. But
his kindly nature and injustice. Now here's what I found, and I wish we would have had time for this in the special. Here's what I find amazing. Here's a guy, Fabian socialist, would you say European or English progressive?
Oh, sure. Hero of the
progressive left.
Western left.
Yeah, okay. So here he is saying Mussolini is condemned to always look like this. Do you have the picture of Mussolini? He always looks like this. He always looks so angry. But he's saying, don't worry about it. I could look that way, but I can also look happy. This is really what they've done to history. They've put a happy face on that stern look. Because they think if you just put a happy face on things, I mean, really, it's the cover of your book, Fascism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. No, you know, they did the same thing with Stalin. It was good old Uncle Joe.
Yeah.
Who was, you know, understandably during World War II when they were an ally, You can understand why they wanted to make them seem nicer, but that idea of friendly Uncle Joe carried straight on through the 1950s and the 1960s. It's the same thing with Mao. It was this, you know, avuncular grandfather figure. It was a source of wisdom.
Yeah, but it's not just over there. It's here as well. I mean, and we're still doing it. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit, and you're going to see this laid out, I think, in the first, 5 minutes, where I think for a lot of Americans, a light will go on and go, oh my gosh. The difference between Hitler, Stalin, Mao, all of these people, and I want to go there next with Jonah Goldberg. Hang on. Tomorrow, my documentary, Live Free or Die, will correct years of progressive lies, or at least it will begin to. When the truth is revealed, I believe they're just going to be some pointy-headed, the eggheads are going to come out of the woodwork because the progressive eggheads know the only reason why this is happening is because you don't remember the history of this country. You don't know the Constitution. You don't know the founders. You don't know the truth. They changed it. Jonah Goldberg is here, author of the book Liberal Fascism. I start tomorrow on kind of the end of where progressivism leads. Always. It always ends the same way. Not necessarily in millions dead, but it always ends badly. Would you agree?
Yeah. Badly I can live with.
Yes, okay, yeah. I wanted to go to Hitler is known, and this will be corrected in the first 5 minutes of the special, Hitler is known as a fascist on the right. You wouldn't wait until you see the evidence on this one, America. It'll blow your mind. But he's known as that. And we know everything about Hitler. Yet Stalin, Mao, killed more. I mean, I don't mean to, it's like, well, no, but, he's better than, it's not. I mean, they're horrible people, all of them. So I don't mean to diminish anybody's evilness here. But we don't think that of Mao. We don't think that of Che.
Right.
And they did horrible things. This is the progressive left writing the history books a certain way.
Yeah, but remember, it's not just the history books. In some ways, the historians aren't as bad as the filmmakers, the journalists, the people who command what Lenin called the commanding heights of the culture, the people who tell us the stories that capture our imagination.
Right.
And the simple fact is that the left, for the last 100 years, has demanded that they have a monopoly on political virtue.
Right.
The further away you get from them, the closer you get to evil and to Hitler and all the rest. So Hitler's kind of like a Medusa's head that they hold up to petrify you, to say, if you head towards those libertarians, you're going to become like Hitler. When Newt Gingrich had contract with America, they all called him a Hitlerite and a Nazi. And the guy was talking about limited government and term limiting committee chairs. Not exactly Hitler's agenda.
Right.
But they do it so as to terrify and bully people into sort of falling in line.
How much, I'm always in trouble with the left and the right. The right always gets mad at me because they're like, who are you to come on and be a clown on television and tell these stories? The left, I think and tell me if I'm wrong, I think the professorial group of the progressive left is going to go crazy when they see on this special the direction that I'm headed on. Correct history, tell the truth. Do you think this is, has anybody tried to open this can of worms on this side of a stage before?
There have been some very good films and documentaries, some actually great movies. The Lives of Others is a wonderful movie. There have been some good books, but it is not a mainstream argument. It is not something that penetrates. It's not in high school textbooks in this way. There's no recognition of the fact that the signature evil of the 20th century is collectivism, and all of the collectivists were on one side of the ideological scale.
That is tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Don't miss it. It begins tomorrow here. We'll be right back. The real Che. Stalin's genocide that most Americans have never heard of, the horrors of communism, the history of progressives, or the history that progressives don't want you to read. You can sign up for my free email newsletter now at glennbeck.com. Revolutionary Holocaust tomorrow from New York. Good night.